how could an innocent young man, an honor student, coming home from school, end up dead, beat to death on the street by a bunch of gang members? And what's happening in our culture? I mean, this is not somewhere else. We're talking, we've got large numbers of gang members in this area. Large numbers. And it's growing every day. Why is it that we have so many kids moving toward this culture? Why do you think that is?
Proper leadership at home is the main thing.
Proper leadership? There's no connection. They don't have, they're trying to find that family. They're trying to find family. Even if it means I do these things that in my heart I know are wrong. But I want family. I want to be accepted. I want to have that connection. And so many kids now, I saw a perfect example last week. You see two kids at a bus stop. And they're standing on opposite sides of the road. And they're doing this. You know, we've lost that connection. We don't have it with parents. What happens with parents? You know, as soon as a kid's 3, 4, 5 weeks old, 6 weeks old, where are they at? They're in a nursery. You know, parents pick them up at 12 or 6 or whatever it may be, and they're still busy. You see kids now, they're going to 8 or 9 different sporting events every day. You know, okay, we got soccer, softball, field hockey, piano lessons, guitar lessons, this, and then we'll get home. We're going to pick up a dinner at McDonald's on the way in. And then you're going to go eat it and go do your homework. There's no connection. So kids are going to find, they're looking for it. You leave enough emptiness in a kid, it's going to get filled with something. And we see that taking place. So each successive kingdom, we see a deterioration in all of these things that we see happening in our culture. The second kingdom was the Persian kingdom. The third kingdom was the Medo-Persian Empire, was succeeded by the Grecian Empire, the Greco-Macedonian Empire. And that was ruled over by Alexander the Great. All right, so we have 3 named world kingdoms. What's the name of the fourth kingdom? Based on what we just read in the second chapter. Does it give us a name? Does it say a name? No. And you won't find it. So the fourth kingdom was not identified by Daniel, nor anywhere else in Scripture. There's not a clear, okay, this is it. But this fourth kingdom, of course, has received most of the talk and most of the research, most of everything, versus the top 3. All right, now, if we go back and we look at the description it gives of this fourth kingdom, it says, strong as iron. And so the strength is not a moral or religious strength. It's not that. It's just brute power to crush, to bring down. And so this strength is not moral. It's not religious. It's not the strength of inner unity, but a destructive strength that ruthlessly breaks to pieces and subdues. And that's in 2 verse 40. So most people concluded, based on that description, that it was Rome, that it was the Roman Empire. And most people agree, because when you look at the Roman Empire, that's what you see. You see this crushing, powerful kingdom that just basically decimated anybody that came across its path. And so, you know, and you think about it, when you go to Luke and you start thinking about what brought Joseph and Mary in, what was it? Caesar Augustus did what? He summoned everybody because he was going to levy some taxes. And he summoned the whole world. All right, so we get this impression from all these different scriptures that it is the Roman Empire. And of course, this Roman Empire, not only was it there in Jesus' time, but it sustained itself for about 400, almost 500 years after Jesus. So a very dominant, controlled force in history. Now, let's go to these toes. Now, in order to really understand all of Daniel chapter 2, you're going to really ultimately have to go to Daniel chapter 7. You're going to have to get into Revelation chapter 13. You're going to have to get into Revelation chapter 17 in order to fill in all these blanks that are kind of left open in Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2 gives us some detail, but then there's more detail that can fill in some of the gaps of this. So we'll get to those in chapter 7. But anyway, we'll look at the implied 10 toes. And when you think about that, automatically you think about a divided kingdom. 10 toes. A divided kingdom. The fourth part of this image exactly corresponds to the fourth beast. So if you go to Daniel chapter 7 and you look at the fourth beast with the 10 horns, you also get this idea of the 10 kings. Alright, so we're starting already in chapter 2, we're starting to get into some visions of the latter days. And the reason, some people think that this unity, this fourth kingdom has already taken place in terms of the final kingdom. They think it's already taken place. But when you look at the Roman Empire, even though it was a powerful empire, it was not a unified, connected empire. It was fighting itself. What destroyed Rome? Rome. That's who destroyed Rome. It wasn't they got so weak that all somebody had to do was walk in and basically take over. So when we look at this and we see the description of this fourth empire, we know that this fourth kingdom that Daniel talks about is a very powerful, it consumes the whole world. It is a unified kingdom. And we don't see that in this kingdom that's being described as the Roman Empire. So we see the Rome in the first stage is iron, but we see in the second stage of the Roman Empire is what? Is clay and iron. So we see this disconnect. The Roman Empire was divided into all these different sections and these different kingdoms. Each of these kingdoms were fighting each other for power and control. So it was never a unified kingdom. So we can't ascribe this fourth kingdom as the one that is the final kingdom. It's not, because they would never. It said, I'll give you this guy's name, Dr. Ironside. He's good stuff. It says, namely, the divisions in the old Roman Empire were spread over a period of several centuries, whereas the 10 kingdoms represented by the 10 toes on the image exist at one time and form one confederation. Okay? So that's the difference. So when we look at the Roman Empire, the old Roman Empire, we see a disjointed, ununified, going in different directions type of control. They gained control of the world by sheer force. But once they had it, they couldn't sustain it because what? Well, you got this toe over here fighting this guy. If you got that going on in your shoe, you're not going to be comfortable. And then, so guess what? It doesn't last long. So, unlike this new federation of these 10 kingdoms represented by the toes, it says the images exist at one time and form one confederation. It is clear that that last form of Gentile world power exists when the stone, remember the stone is going to crush down on the feet, so that kingdom has to exist at the time that stone enters the picture. It has to be in existence. So, and we know that the stone crushes the image, so if we look at, as we get to verses 44 and 45, it starts to paint a clearer picture. So in verse 44, it's talking about the beginning of the Messianic kingdom on earth. It's talking about the second coming of Christ. And this second coming is going to destroy all the other kingdoms. So whatever's here at the time is going to be wiped out. It's going to be gone.